Welcome to your new TechmodeGO telephone system. Today I'm going to be reviewing how to use your new web client application. This web client is easy to use and combines all the features you need to effectively communicate, collaborate, and connect with colleagues, partners, and customers straight from your browser. From this one interface, you will easily be able to make calls, view the status of colleagues, send chat messages, and hold video conferences. This web client works in most browsers, but Google Chrome is the recommended browser. No matter what browser you use, it is recommended that you keep it up to date. The first thing we're going to do to get started is all of you should have received your welcome email from the TechMode team. So for this video, we are actually going to be focusing on the web client portion. Okay. The first thing you'll notice here is the URL that you'll have for us to access this. That for the first time users that you log in, you are going to need your username, which is right here, and you're going to need your password. So all we're going to do is simply click on this link here and get right into the interface. So as you can see, it's just a regular, web browser that we're viewing this in, and we're in Google Chrome, for instance, for this one, right? So the first thing we're going to go through is the list of icons that we have down here on the side. So you can see we have people, contacts, chat, call history, voicemail. The scheduling conference and the web meeting is actually done in its own video, so we will not be reviewing those in this particular meeting. We're going to talk about the switchboard, some personal settings for yourself, and the good old help button if you get stuck or have anything to refresh yourself. All right? So the first thing we're going to look at is the People's tab. Obviously, you can see a lot of things within our organization, all the different extensions, those kind of things of people here in the office. So, and you'll notice that I have some things in here. So I have the ability to call, I can chat people, I can invite them to a web meeting, I can add them to a favorites by simply clicking this and adding them to my favorites. And we'll make some phone calls later, and we'll do some chat messages later on in this video, but just kind of wanted to bring those things to your attention. The other thing is you have these three little dots here, so you have the option to intercom this person, you can send them an email, leave them a voicemail, or call their mobile device. Right? So all of those things are set up when we create a new contact, and I'll show you how to do those things as well. All right? So I want to draw your attention to a couple of things. So we have all groups, so these are kind of going to be everybody within the organization, but I also have my favorites. So I look at favorites are people that I communicate with on a daily basis, right? Talk to them all the time. Sometimes I just have this screen opened up because, a lot of these folks are project managers within our office, or my design engineers, or, those kind of things. So it's easy for me to communicate, but I can segment people out into different groups. So, and if maybe you have like multiple locations, so say for instance we set you up for, your 5 or 6 locations that you have, or your 10 locations, or whatever the case may be, sometimes we'll label those out for you individually. So people are grouped. So you're like, oh, I know I need to get this person from this particular office. You can click right into it. Easy to access them. And once again, they're just broken up into different groups, right? So to make this customizable, our team will work with you as far as how to build these out for yourself. But it's a great way to communicate, and it's a nice way to segment those out so you're not looking, for instance, at all of these at one time. So it makes it a little difficult sometimes, all right? So the other thing I wanted to share with you is the ability to search, right? So if I wanted to search in here, of course you could do that. You just type in the, the person's name. So if you wanted to type in Jack, for instance, right, you see Jack's got 2 different ones, so I could choose which one I called for Jack. The next thing I wanted to go into is going to be your contacts. So contacts are broken up into 2 different sections. The first one you're going to have is the company. So, and then you're going to have your personal, right? And all contacts will display all of those for you. So the nice thing is think of your company contacts as more like group speed dials, right, for the whole organization. So maybe these are key suppliers that you work with, or key customers that you have, those kind of things. So these are something that is shared across the system and across the organization, and people can call these folks, all right? The other one's going to be your personal, right? These are ones that are personable to you. It allows you to quickly call these people, right from here, right? So if I wanted to call Aaron Green, for instance, I click, I make a phone call to him. It's just that simple. The next thing I wanted to share with you is how to add a contact. So new contact, right? Hit the plus button, type in the name. So let's just call this, let's see, test user. He works at ABC Company. I can spell company right here. Let's see here. There we go. Put an email address in. I'll just use mine as a default, a mobile number for him. So know that you can fill out any of these things in here. But the nice thing is when you look at this icon later, you can email them because you put an email address in there. You can call their mobile because you put their mobile number in there. You also have the ability, if you want to select an image. So if you have a picture of this person or something like that, or maybe just a company logo that you wanted to put on there, you could absolutely do those things. It's as easy as just selecting an image, and it pulls your different images up, and you can put that in there for that person. All right? And when you're done, you just want to hit the Save button. Okay, now you can see here that we have our test user. Just that simple. All right? The next thing we're going to be looking at is the ability to import. Typically, your import is going to be done by our TechMode team prior to this, right? So let's say, for instance, you have an O365 account, and you want to import your contacts, right? We'll work with you to get those imported over so you can do those and kind of walk you through that process. And that's typically done with like the system administrator trainer, and then they can do that for the rest of the group and kind of show you guys how to do that. All right? But you can also import just a straight CSV file, so something out of Excel, those kind of things. So there's some options for you with that. You have the ability to obviously delete all these contacts if you wanted to. You also have the ability to, at any time, you can call these people, of course, but you can edit the profiles of those people, and then you have the ability to delete them individually. Once again, you have the ability to search. So let's see, for instance, if I wanted to find Tim, I have a couple different Tims in here. I'm able to select those simply by hitting the search button. All right. The next one we're going to get to is the chat. This is probably one of the things that I use most out of this browser application. Chat to me is real-time communication. It allows me to collaborate with my team on things in real time, right? So sometimes a lot of us multitasking. We're doing multiple things and keeping ourselves busy. We want to make sure that we are staying connected, right? And we're able to, hey, got a quick question. Do you have a second? So, for instance, I have the ability to message just with an individual person, but I also have the ability to message with a group of people. So let me show you how we do something like that. So simply here, compose a chat. And let's see, let's add a couple users to this. So let's add, we'll add Lindsay. Let's add Jim to this. There we go, select Jim. Let's add, I don't know, we'll add Nikki to it, right? So we got our 3 folks here, and then I can add any more that I wanted to, and then I simply hit next, right? And we'll call this a test group chat, and I'll hit OK. It's that easy. Now you can see that I have a few things for me. So I can see my participants by clicking on here, so you can see the 3 people that I've added. You also have the ability to send them a message, so I'm going to say hello. And then you will also notice down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I have the ability to add attachments. So I can click right here, and let's just say I want to grab an attachment that I have. I'll double click on that, and now the attachment is right here. The cool thing is all of the folks within our group are going to be able to view this, right? They simply click the button here, it downloads the Word doc in this case, and here it is. Right? So it's just that easy to do something with that. So there's Nikki sending a message back so you can kind of see how those come in, and it just keeps it active for the whole group. The nice thing is I'll grab somebody, for instance, like Jim, right? We have a long thread that we've had for, months and months, actually years on here, but you can see that this whole thing goes all the way through to when we've implemented the phone system. So this just keeps going and going and going and going as we continue to scroll, right? So, and it keeps that whole active thread for you during that time, okay? The other thing is the ability to search. So if I wanted to find somebody, for instance, and man, maybe it's been a while, and I don't know, I wanted to find Mike, for instance, right? So you can see, oh, here's Mike, right? And then you can see the whole thread that we have going back and forth with them as well. So ability to search, ability to do different things out of here is extremely helpful. The next thing I wanted to say is if you wanted to be able to archive this, right? So maybe it's too busy, like I got a lot. So maybe I want to get rid of some of these. I can hit over here the archive button, right? And now that message is gone off of my main screen, but it's over here now in my archived messages. So I can click back here. You can see that I see Mike. There he is. If I wanted to bring him back, I simply click over here, and now he is going to be back in our normal section. You just got to find Mike. There he is. So you can see that. So you can take them in and out of archive. So if you want to keep a little cleaner interface, you can absolutely do so with that. All right, the next one's going to be your call history. So call history, pretty straightforward, right? We have the ability for all of our calls and our incoming calls that we have, and of course outgoing, missed, and abandoned. So those are pretty straightforward, right? You can see any calls that you had. Of course, if I wanted to call this person back, I have the ability to do so. If they're on the system, I have the ability to chat them back. And if I want to delete it, I can delete it, right? But let's take, for instance, a call that I received yesterday, and I wanted to be able to add this person, right? So, hey, this is a new client that we just got. I want to be able to add them to my contacts. So I click the plus button. Same thing would apply, right? I am able to put their information in, put a picture in, just like we did before. If you have administrative access to this, you can also add them to the company phone book, right? So easy to do, easy to listen, you know, and just view your history that you have right out of there, all right? The next one is going to be your voicemail. So natively with our system, we are going to give you voicemail to email, right? So anytime you get a voicemail message, it's going to come to your inbox, right? Your email box. But also, we give you voicemail to email with transcription, right? So it uses Google Analytics, and anytime we get a voicemail message, it's also going to get transcribed for us. So as you can see here, this is another place for you to view your voicemail. So of course, you're going to have them in your email, and they come across, and you'll have that information for you there. But this is just another spot if you choose to have them here. So I can see, for instance, I received a phone call from Cheryl, and I have the option here, if I want to download this voicemail, I can do so. I have the ability to play it, and I can play it through my phone, and there's a couple other things that you can do. You can play it through your computer, those kind of things, and it's based on this, and we're going to get into the different modes that we have here a little later in the video. All right, but I also have the ability to call that person back. I have the ability to delete the voicemail, and I also have the ability to add them as a contact. So as you see, every time I'm getting a phone call in or whatever I'm doing with that, I always have the ability to add these people as contacts. So that part of it I really do like to be able to do those kind of things. All right? So pretty straightforward with that one. Up here, you know, if you click this little dot, you know, you have the ability to, I can choose to delete this message if I wanted to. I have the ability to mark it as heard. So if it comes over fresh and you haven't listened to it yet, it's going to have this little icon next to it. Now, the other thing I wanted to tell you about is the search button. So let's say, for instance, man, I got a phone call, and I can't remember exactly who it was from, but I knew it was like a 248 number, right? So I could type in a 248 area code. You see that it pulls up all my voicemails with a 248. Or maybe it's from a person within my office or a contact, and oh, maybe it's Kathy. Oh, here's Kathy's voicemail, right? I have the ability to search any of those things, once again, using the search bar to do so. The next one I'm going to bring your attention to is going to be the switchboard. Okay, so this is, you know, it's a day in the life of like active phone calls, what is going on in the phone system, those kind of things. So the first thing I wanted to share with you is this is kind of, you know, where I view all of my calls that are coming in and out, and I can see the queues and those kind of things within this. So if I'm a manager, I'm going to have some more access rights to see these things. But the next thing I wanted to go to is your queue calls. So I can see here that I have a queue called, for instance, and I want to pop this out, right? This is what this little icon is. So I can move this, put it on a second screen. I have the option to see quite a few different things, and when I move this to a different device if I wanted to, instead of having the whole interface, or it's, you know, it's doing something that I have going on, or whatever the case may be. Okay? So for instance, if we had, you know, you can see all the people that are part of this group down here, and if I placed a phone call, for instance, I would be able to see that I have an active call coming in. Well, this particular person's calling me, right? So you can kind of see how that comes in from that perspective. Okay, and if we get a chance here, a couple after we get some calls going, I can click on these things. But the nice thing is if I'm a manager or a supervisor and I have a call that's coming through, I'm going to be able to actually to right-click on this call, and I'm going to have the ability to do a barge, a listen, a whisper to those folks. So more of that, you know, a supervisor overview to be able to see what's going on with those users. But once again, active call, it would just be a right-click into here to be able to do that for yourself. Okay, the next thing is there's going to be your wall board. So your wall board is, you know, right here you can see that I had 6 answered calls, 1 abandoned, 7 total. Average wait time for our folks was 9 seconds. All right, so that's just kind of the status for the day and what we had going on. All right, same thing with this one. As you notice, we have the ability to pop this out. So if you're in a contact center environment and you want to put this up on a big screen or a big TV or something like that, you do it, right? And all it is a web page, right? So there's no software that you have to download or no client that you have to install on that particular user, whatever that case may be. You can see that right there, all right? One thing I did want to bring your attention to, you notice that I called from another extension and I have a missed call. So you will get a notification with, you know, that, hey, you have a missed call, those kind of things. So you'll see that. Of course, you'll see it on your desk phone, but it's another visual representation here. The next thing is I'm part of 3 sales queues within our office, right? So I have the sales queue, I have the website, and I have a demo one that I use for demo purposes. But if we just go to our sales queue, for instance, I have the ability here to obviously see the people that are part of this queue, but if I'm a manager or a supervisor and we've even given the proper permissions, I have the ability to click right here and log people out, right? I also have the ability to log them back in. It's just that easy, right? Now let's talk about this from an end user perspective. If I'm just a regular person, I'm part of a sales group, I'm not a supervisor, I'm not going to have this status, but I will have the queue up here at the top to allow me to take myself out of queue and put myself back in queue. And you notice down here that it changed for me, right? And I log myself back in, right? So if you're going to lunch, going on break, make sure you take yourself out of queue so those calls aren't presented to you. All right, so that's kind of a little bit about that interface itself, kind of gives you a quick snapshot into it and kind of walks you through what you can see from a manager perspective as well as from an end user perspective. The next tab I'm going to get into, this one's quite robust, right? This is the settings tab. This is kind of to make your interface personable to you, right? So the first thing we're going to do is you can see here that we have, you know, the device that I have, my name, my mobile number, the picture that I uploaded for myself. But you have a couple other things down here. So when I get a chat notification, when a chat came in, when you saw Nikki sent a message to us, right? You know, I got a notification, but I also got an alert, right? An audible sound that I heard. So you can play notifications if you want to. You can turn it off if you don't want it, okay? You also have the ability to change the tone. So if you're maybe, I don't know, let's say we're sitting in a cube environment and there's a few of us that we're sitting around and we don't want this to, you know, to have the same tone as, you know, Mary sitting next to me, well, I'll change mine, right? So I know it's my I am and not hers that's going off in that particular case. Okay? You can choose to block users if you want to. You can add them to the block list. I don't necessarily know why you'd want to do that, but you can. So that's an option for you. The next one down here is going to be your theme. So you can select the theme. So right now you can see it's white here for my theme and I got a, you know, a black bar here on top, but you have the option to change it. So I can make it all black, right? So it's black here and it's black here on the side as well. You also can change it to aqua blue. So if I wanted to have it blue up here, but once again, it just goes back to making this personable to yourself. What you like, what you want to see, all of those things right out of it, okay? So that's a little bit about the general piece of it. Now let's get into the personalization, okay? So the first one is going to be your status view, okay? So status view, what this controls is the people icon, right? If you look right now, I have everybody from, you know, their extension numbers in numerical order, right? So 000, 111, 112, so on and so forth, right? So if I go here to my settings and in the personal, I have the ability to change that. I can do it by, well, first name, last name. Maybe that works better for you, right? And maybe you like to see that. So if I go back to my people here, you can see, well, 000, but it's A, right? Administrator account, Kaline, April, Kathy, so on and so forth. And you can see those things as you go through, all right? So that's how you can make that a little bit more personable to yourself. You also have the ability in your active calls, and that was when the switchboard here. There we go. We can see an active call. This is probably a good opportunity. But you can see here that April, I have the option to barge in on her. I have the ability to listen to her call. I can whisper. I can transfer. I can park the call. I can drop. Or I can choose to record her call. And if she's already being recorded, I can unrecord her call. So great opportunity to see that. But this is what I'm talking about, that active caller session, right? What do you want to see in here is based on what you put in your personal active calls, right? So show ringing external calls, show parked calls. You have the option to choose what little or as much as you want to see out of that, all right? The next one is going to be your queues. as you notice, like I told you before, I was part of 3 different queue groups within the organization. If I want to remove or, not to look at all queues at one time, maybe I'm not a member of those, but I'm more of a supervisor and, the sales group is handled, they're good, I don't need to mess with them, I can take them off, right? So now if I go back to my switchboard here, I can see that I only had the website and the demo queue, right? The other one is gone. So an option for me to change that, once again, personalize this, make it for what you want it to be, and you go from there. All right, the next one is going to be your wallboard. So now I have the ability to enter some custom messages, right? So I had it as TechmodeGO, but I can call this, I don't know, ABC Company. And let's say, I don't know, oh, here, I already did one before. Pizza party to reach our goal at the end of the week, right? So now if I go back here to my switchboard and I go to my wallboard, you can see it's ABC Company and pizza party if we reach our goal, our weekly goal, right? So you have those things in there. You're able to see them. You're able to change them on the fly. So, hey guys, really got to clamp down. We got a ton of people in queue. Work hard. You could say whatever you really want in there and type a message to those people. But that's where you go to change that particular thing. All right. So, and the last one here is going to be your audio and video. This is really just allows me to have the different cameras that I have set up and those kind of things for my computer. If I had a headset, I would be able to put that in there as well. All right. The next one we're going to get to is the call forwarding. So this is really, if I don't answer the call, what happens to it, right? So for instance, you see here that I have available, away, do not disturb, lunch, business trip, exceptions, right? So each one of these have a different call flow, and what these are based on is what's over here, right? My availability. So the availability, I'm available, I'm in a meeting, do not disturb, all of those same things are done here. So say for instance, one cool thing that we have as far as an integration to like O365, for instance. If you have an O365 account and we do the integration with it, what the phone system is going to do is read your O365 calendar, right? So it's going to look at that calendar and says, oh, you know what, Kurt's in a meeting right now. It's automatically going to change my status from available to away, right? And based on what I have in here for my rules for away is what's going to happen with that call, okay? So my status will be in a meeting, right? It's just going to go to voicemail, but I have options for internal callers if I wanted it to ring my mobile, for instance, but probably wouldn't want that, but you can do anything you want, right? You can put it as a system extension. You can do it as an extension number, right? So if I want to do an extension number, I could assign this to somebody else. So all my calls are going to go to April, for instance, if I'm away or in a meeting, right? Maybe that's my support person or that's my assistant that I have or whatever that case may be, all right? So you can choose any of those people and you can change that, but I'm just going to put mine back to voicemail. Same thing with your external callers. You can do the same exact thing, same rules apply, all right? And you can do these for any. So the one I use a lot, right, is if we're on vacation, right? So say it's summertime, it's beautiful, and we're going on vacation for a week, and I'm just not going to work, right? So people are going to get my messages, and so I'm going to go in here, and I would take those, I'd do a number, and I would forward it to somebody else in my office who's going to be covering for me. Does that make sense? So that's how you can do that, not bug your system administrator, and you can do those own kind of things for yourself if you choose to do so. All right. The next one is going to be your greeting. We kind of just talked about this and how the availability changes. I'm just going to make myself back available here. But if you click right here, you can see I have a default greeting that I've created, but I have the ability to record different messages. So based on things, my general greeting is, thank you for calling TechMode. You've reached the voicemail box of Kurt Pontello. I'm sorry I missed your call. If you would, please leave a detailed message and I will get back to you just as soon as I can. But let's say my away one or my in the meeting one is, thank you for calling TechMode. You've reached the voicemail box of Kurt Pontello. I'm sorry, I'm currently in a meeting. If you would, please leave me a detailed message, and I will get back to you right after my meeting. Or, hey, I'm at lunch, those kind of things. So you can make these things personable, and you can record those meetings. So all I do here is I record a greeting. So we're going to give it a name. Let's call it test message. Okay, so we're going to hit OK on that one. And what I'm going to get now is you see I have a call coming in, and it's ringing my desk phone, but it can also ring your, your web client. But I'm going to go ahead and answer this.
Record your message, then press pound.
Test message, test message. This is a test recorded message.
To save message, press 0. To repeat recording, press 1. Your message saved.
Okay, so it was really just that simple for me to save that message. And you will notice right here, there is that test message that we just created, and all I have to do is simply click that, and that will be my new greeting, right? It's just that easy. And for the folks that have came from, the days of having to, push voicemail and log into the phone and go through all the different prompts, this is going to be a welcome site for you. That simply is just clicking here, recording the message, and then that's all you have to do. All right? The next one we're going to get into is going to be the integration. This is more for your administrative staff, nothing much that you really need to worry about for yourself. Okay? The next one is going to be scanning the QR code. The QR code is done for the mobile application. That is done in a previous video that we have done. And then that's where you would find that QR code to scan that. The next one here is going to be the busy lamp field. This is going to be, the buttons that are programmed on your desk phone. The important thing to note about this, though, please, 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 do not change the ones that your system administrator has worked with TechMode to already pre-program on that phone for you. Those are on there for a reason. But if you have some extra space left on your phone and you want to add one, let me show you how easy it is to do that. So all we're going to do here is add more, and simply, let's fill this one out here. We're going to go pick a BLF, and we are going to pick the user. So I don't know, let's grab LK-Line right here, right? So it's going to, it's just that easy to add it, right? But now I'm going to be able to see the status. So the nice thing is if I'm looking at Al's extension, for instance, if he's on the phone, it's going to be lit red next to his name. If he's available, it's going to be green. So you can see if that person's on the phone, not on the phone, and it would allow you to make an intelligent decision before he gets to that call or whatever that case may be. All right? So that's as easy as that is. The next one I want to bring it to, so that kind of wraps up this section, but the next one is going to be help. So at any time, if you have questions or you don't know how to do something, click the help button. It is very intuitive for you. So you're going to see, how do you use the web client, the thing that we're going over right now, right? How do I make, receive, transfer calls? How do you manage your status, right? Chat with colleagues. How do you use the mobile apps? Those are right here. And in all these different sections, like how to use a desk phone and how to, check your voicemail. And if you want, you can click and learn more, right? So if you have additional questions, you should be able to go to that. Of course, if you can't figure it out on your own, go to your system administrator. The other thing I would tell you, of course, if they need help, they can always reach out to the folks at TechMode, right? So just another tool for you to have. So that kind of walks us through all of those things. Now, the next thing I wanted to get into, let's do some phone calls, right? So let's play some phone calls and see how this application works. So the first thing I'm going to go back here is I'm going to change this over to my desk phone. The first thing I wanted to note to you, though, is you have 3 different options. So you have your telephone, you have the web client, and you have the smartphone, right? Depending on which one of those you pick is how you're going to use the medium to talk out of. So we're going to start here with my desk phone, and we're going to use the dial pad here, and let's just make a demo call here to one of my demo phones that I have set up in the office. As you can hear, the call is ringing, and now I have it active on my desk phone. You will notice that I have the ability to transfer the call from here. Of course, I can do this from my desk phone, but you also have it here in the Softphone application. So I can transfer and attended transfer. The difference between the two is a transfer call is I am hitting the transfer button, I'm going to dial the extension, and that's it. It's going to go to that person, all right? An attended transfer is I'm going to hit attended transfer. It's going to put that call on hold, and then I'm going to be able to transfer that call after having a conversation with the person that I want to transfer it to. So, hi, I have Bob Smith on the phone. Would you like to take his call? Yes, go ahead and send him through, right? I have those options in there to do so. So, very flexible for you. Same thing as if you want to do a conference. You can do the same exact thing here with that one, and you can do it right out of this application, okay? And then this one's being recorded, but I can turn that on, turn it off, and simply, if you wanted to also, you can hide it, bring it back, and you can choose to end the call. All right? The next one we're going to do is we're going to switch from our desk phone now, and we're going to switch to the web client. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to place that phone call. We're going to call, and now you will notice that there are quite a few different things that are now available to us. Sorry, I forgot to hang up that other one, so let me do this one more time for us. 2022, call that. There we go. So now you can see that this is going, and we have an active phone call dialing between these. But now you'll notice that I have transfer, attended transfer, and some other things that have been added to this to give me some additional functionality with it, right? So now you can see that I can do a video call and a couple other things with this as well. All right, so there's just additional things with it, and we're going to get more into that here in just a moment to show you how those work. So we're going to go ahead and hang that one up. Now the next piece I want to show you is you also have the ability to do this to your smartphone, right? So if I go to my smartphone here, for instance, I can toggle this on, toggle it off, but now that I have my smartphone, I place a phone call out of this, and it's going to use my smartphone as my talk path to do so. Same kind of rules apply, all right? We're going to go ahead and end that call there. And so those are the different ones. But the one I really want to bring your attention to now, so that's kind of the built-in one. That kind of comes with it. It allows you to do some basic things out of it. But what my recommendation would be is to use the browser extension plugin. You notice here that we've had this little icon lit the whole time. So we're going to go here. We're going to click our browser extension. And it kind of gives you a quick tutorial, right? Manage your calls through Chrome with incoming pop-ups, you know, those kind of things. And you have all of this right here. So we're going to go ahead and install that. We're going to add this to our Chrome. Okay, we're going to add the extension. And we're going to give it just a moment here and let it do its thing. And now you see that it's been added. Okay, so but you'll notice that this is grayed out. It says it's not connected. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go back over here and we're going to need to activate it. So all I do is click. Now it's activated. And now you can see that it's blue and it lets me know that I am connected. All right, so let's go ahead and open this application up. So here it is. And so now as we're looking at this, it kind of gives us quite a few different things. So I can see status of people here in our office, right? I have the ability to click my contacts. If you notice though, when I click contacts, it brought me right over to my contacts page, which is pretty sweet, right? You have the ability for your keypad. So if I need to dial out of this, I can dial from here. It also has the ability to look at, well, my recent, right? So, oh, hey, there's a missed call that I had, right? But it brings you right to your screen. So it's very intuitive, and it works in unison with the one that you have on your desktop, right? And, of course, same thing with chat, does the same thing. Same thing with your voicemail, does the same exact thing for there as well. The next thing I wanted to bring to your attention is the three little lines that you'll see up here on this side. You see that, of course, I can see my people, contacts, chat, all of those kind of things. But, you know, if I have monitoring queues and I want to look at those things, I can simply click that, and now I can monitor the queues that I am part of and see if anything is going on with that one. All right? The next thing you're going to have here is the ability to go to settings, those kind of things with it. But the last thing I wanted to share with you is you can see here that I'm using my smartphone, and my smartphone is selected here, right? But I can log myself out of a queue and in a queue, either way that I want to do it, and I can change my availability within this application as well. The nice thing about this application is it turns my computer into my desk phone, right? So now I can work anywhere. So if I need to work from home or I need to work remote, whatever that case would be, I can do this all out of this application. So nice, easy to do, all from the single interface here. The next thing I wanted to show you is let's make some phone calls. So the first thing is let's just dial an extension here and go ahead and hit that, and you can see here another IM that came in. And I'm going to go ahead and answer that call here, bring this application back up. And now you see I have the ability to put people on hold if I want to. I have the ability to mute, so it's nice and blue, so I know I'm muted. I have the ability to add a new call. I can conference, and it's easy as just hitting conference, and you dial the extension that you want, and you can conference with that person, right? Just that simple. And of course, you can do the full telephone numbers with this as well. Sorry about that, close that one back out. And you can also put in a full telephone number if you want to do a 248-276-5030, for instance. You could put something like that in there, okay? The other thing you're going to have the ability to do, like we talked about before, is transfer. Attended transfer works the same exact way as I showed you before. And then you also notice here that we have the video icon on this application as well, right? So pretty cool, easy to do. And then also you have your keypad here. So maybe you're dialing into an 800 number and you need to, you know, you're hitting an auto attendant and you need to do some DTMF tones. you can do those same things out of this application as well. All right, and you will notice here, like if I have another chat, you'll see those kind of things, all of that stuff available to you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hang this call up. And for that, that's really what the mobile application or the desktop application is going to allow you to do. I would highly recommend that you use the plugins from the browser. It works really easy. It works in combination of what you have going on. And other than that, thank you very much for your time today, and have a great rest of your day.